Imagine waking up one morning to an official message. You will die on September 17th, 2064 at exactly 3:27 p.m. No delays, no loopholes, no miracles, just a cold, undeniable certainty. What would you do? How would that knowledge shape your decisions? Would it free you to live fully, or would it paralyze you with fear? Throughout history, humans have feared death. We push it aside, live in denial, and convince ourselves that there's always more time. But what if that illusion was shattered? What if life had an expiration date staring right at you? For centuries, philosophers, scientists, and religious thinkers have debated the role of death in shaping human behavior. We know death is inevitable, but not knowing when keeps us in a strange state of hope and ignorance. But if you had a countdown clock ticking away, what would change? Would you make better choices? Would you chase your dreams? Or would you lose all motivation because the end is set in stone? In this video, we'll explore the Stoic, psychological, and societal implications of knowing exactly when you'll die. Let's dive in. For many, the fear of death is not about dying itself, but about the uncertainty surrounding it. If you knew the date of your death, the uncertainty disappears. But does that bring peace or panic? Psychologists argue that absolute certainty of death could lead to extreme anxiety or even depression. Why work hard, build relationships, or chase dreams if you know exactly when it all ends? Some people might fall into a state of hopelessness thinking, what's the point? However, for others, this knowledge might be liberating. If you knew you had exactly 20 years left, you wouldn't waste time. You'd cut out toxic relationships, pursue meaningful experiences, and stop procrastinating. The Stoics believed in embracing death, not fearing it. The phrase Memento Mori, remember you must die, was meant to remind people that life is short. Instead of avoiding the thought of death, they used it as motivation to live wisely and virtuously. So the real question is, would knowing your death date ruin your life or finally set you free? How would society react? Now, let's take this idea to a larger scale. What if everyone knew the exact date of their death? How would the world change? Would crime increase? If someone knew they had only 6 months left, would they act recklessly, believing there were no long-term consequences? Would governments and businesses take advantage of this knowledge? Would life insurance companies charge outrageous fees for those with little time left, while offering discounts to those with decades ahead? Would religious beliefs change? Many religions emphasize faith in the unknown. But if death became predictable, would people lose faith or become more spiritual? Would people plan their lives better? Would universities have customized degrees based on how long you have left? Would careers be shortened? Would bucket lists become a normal part of life planning? In some ways, society might become more structured and goal-oriented, but in others, it might descend into chaos. How would you live? Now, let's bring it back to you. Imagine you receive your death date today. What changes? Would you still work at your job, knowing exactly how many paychecks you'll collect before you die? Would you mend broken relationships, knowing time is running out? Would you finally start that passion project you've been delaying? Most people live as if they have unlimited time. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later. But what if there was no later? Here's the reality. You already have a death date. You just don't know when. If you knew, would you live differently? And if the answer is yes, then why aren't you living that way now? For the Stoics, death was not a tragedy. It was a part of life. The fact that life is temporary is what makes it valuable. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is the essence of Memento Mori. A reminder that death is coming, but it's not something to fear. It's something to use as motivation to live well. In today's world, we distract ourselves from death with entertainment, work, and social media. We act as if we'll live forever, but the reality is, we won't. So whether or not you know your exact date, the lesson remains the same. Live with purpose. Pursue meaning over distractions. Don't waste time on things that don't matter. So, let's end with a final question. If you knew exactly when you were going to die, would you change the way you live? And if the answer is yes, then why wait? Live now, because whether or not you know your death date, time is still running out.